What's going on, guys? D-pad first, and this is my review for Fallout 4. The hype I had for Fallout 4 in 2015 can't be measured. It was right up there with stuff like Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto 4, and Gears of War 2, just to name a few. From the time the game released up until this current playthrough, I continued to pick Fallout 4 up and put it right back down. It just wasn't the RPG Fallout New Vegas is. The RPG elements and choices in New Vegas, they still hold up today against the RPGs of today, not including The Witcher 3. I haven't seen or played one that does it better. So how is Fallout 4 after giving it more of a chance 2 years later? Well, let's find out.
Hearing shit.
As we always do, visuals and animations are up first. Fallout 4 is the best looking game Bethesda Game Studios have ever made. It's also the most polished game that they've ever made. Take that for what you will, because like other games that run on this engine, it has its problems and it's far from perfect. I think a couple of the things that grabbed me most was seeing how much character models and environments throughout the open world had improved from previous games. The skybox and weather effects are amazing, the blood, the gore, more beautiful than ever before, and the energy weapon effects render the use of mods like Eve completely irrelevant. Explosions and different particle effects are just on another level in comparison to other Fallout games. Bethesda took notes here, and it shows, unless we're talking about the performance. Performance in this game is all over the place, and not just with the frame rate. Sometimes you'll play for a few hours, 60 FPS, very consistently with no issues. The next time you fire it up, you may experience dips into the 40s for a moment for absolutely no reason at all, with nothing happening on screen. And it's not a whole lot different with the loading times. My entire setup is SSDs. One moment you load in and out of locations with no issues in just a few seconds. Others, well, I've been in the loading screen anywhere from 15 seconds to about 45, 50 seconds. What the hell happened here, Bethesda? You probably shouldn't go in expecting a lot of options to tweak for a 2015 title that released on PC. It's still the same bare bones launcher it's always been for this engine. Animations have also received a bump in quality. I absolutely love attention to detail on reload animations, and for what Fallout is and the special guns that these games have, all things considered, Bethesda spent a little more time making things a lot more awesome. Animations overall just look and feel better. Whether you choose to play in first or third person, you should notice a difference. Again, a lot of this praise isn't without its faults. There's still a lot of jank in the physics, and if you're playing on PC, I can't recommend trying to play over 60 FPS unless you want to break game logic. Bethesda really has to fix some of these issues if they're going to continue with this engine in Elder Scrolls or the next Fallout title. Fallout 4 looks really damn good for a Bethesda game. It's not the most impressive open world game we've seen this generation. There are better looking games, period. There's still a ton of ways to play and many different styles to choose from. Create your character, make it through the first hour or two of the tutorial stuff, and the world is yours at this point. You still have VATS and a ton of exploding heads and gore. If you liked what you played with Fallout 3 in New Vegas, you're going to absolutely love it here in Fallout 4. Though I will say with VATS, it no longer stops time, it slows it, and I actually welcome this change because when you really stop and think about it, completely stopping the enemy to be able to have that power did seem a little OP and maybe even a little unfair at times, but just to be able to see them move around now on the screen while still in VATS is, again, a very welcome change as far as I'm concerned. After hearing you could craft weapons and improve their stats, I was a little worried about how uniques or the legendaries would work out in this game. You can craft armor and weapons that are often better than the really good legendary items you'll find. I still don't know how to feel about all that. I want to say I'm leaning more toward the killing 10 Deathclaws and a couple of alphas to obtain a truly worthwhile item. I really enjoyed some of the added bonuses Bethesda came up with on the good gear you'll find on dead legendary enemies and what those brought to the table. I remember finding one item for my arm that had a really good chance for a freeze effect on enemies using melee attacks. I get pretty excited about little things like that. Sorry. Hey, you know what I don't get excited for? Picking up a really awesome weapon that no one in this game seems to have ammo for. Bethesda, where the hell is all the 4570 ammo? In the DLC, I assume? How does that help me in the main story? How are you going to give me this really awesome weapon, but not allow me to buy ammo for it anywhere in this game? No vendor has 4570 ammo. Where the hell is the ammo? I'm going to assume in the Far Harbor DLC, right? If I just had to guess, it's in the Far Harbor DLC, but that doesn't help me in the main game or for this review for that matter. I really want to use this gun, but no one has ammo for it. Thanks for allowing me to loot it off this dead raider though. I appreciate that. Speaking of raiders, all of your favorite enemy types are back, without the annoying but deadly Cazadors, Bloodbugs, Deathclaws, Yaogwai, Gunners, Raider Scum, complete Raider Filth, yes, definitely in this game and one of my favorite to kill, Brotherhood, Mole Rats, Mother Mole Rats, Mirelurks, Synths, and the like. They're all here, they're ready to kick your ass, you're ready to kick their ass, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think each variation of those enemy types also has a legendary enemy, but I'm not entirely sure. And it seems like the further south you go in Fallout 4, the more difficult the enemies become and the more legendaries you'll find. Maybe that was me, maybe that was just my playthrough, but I found that interesting. When it comes to the gameplay, I feel like I have to make mention that part of me will miss being able to shoot a gun out of the hands of an enemy or do repairs on guns and gear. So what's wrong with Fallout 4? What are the cons of this gameplay? Let's just get this out of the way. I don't know what this game is, but it is so far removed from the conversation of RPG that it's not even funny. Fallout 4 is more of a jack of all trades, master of none. It's not the best shooter in its genre. It's not the best RPG. It's not the best action game. It's not even the best shoot and loot game, but I think that that's where it's best. Fallout 4, while not the best, is a great open world shoot and loot game. Where this game falls very, very short is the RPG elements. Bethesda created a game that was more accessible to newcomers than giving longtime fans what they know and love. It's their vision, but a lot of people, including those longtime fans, paid for a vision that's no longer about staying true to RPG elements or the lore. Your decisions, big or small, don't really have any major impact in this game. In the dialogue or in certain combat situations, this game again is mostly about the shoot and loot. And I think after I beat the game, a few NPCs made mention of the railroad to me. Whoop-de-doo, right? I think one of the biggest sins this game commits is that in the first 45 minutes to an hour of playtime, you're helping one of the biggest factions in the game, picking up one of the better early weapons in the game, and a minigun, some power armor, and fighting a Deathclaw. The tryhard is real. I think the goal here was to have newcomers feel empowered from the jump. They probably succeeded with that. But do you know what is probably the biggest sin for this game? And maybe it's just me, it's definitely my opinion. Telling gamers before launch that crafting and building are optional. They're not. Many side missions and a good chunk of the main story will force you to build, even if it's the bare minimum you're gonna have to build. Why lie? What you meant to say is that building outside of questing was optional. You don't have to build some mega fortress, but hey, it's optional. How did this happen? Why would you bring this kind of thing to Fallout? Oh, right. I know why.
We need to get somebody like doing 11:11, like recreate Skyrim and Minecraft.
Oh.
Actually, my level designers would probably want to do that.
Yeah, that would be really awesome.
When Minecraft first kind of hit, you know, we do these like every other week. We show a game at lunch to the team, whoever wants to come, and everyone will watch it, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, cool.
You know, Minecraft became a hit, and the guys were like, "We're gonna go and show everybody Minecraft," because they knew what it is. And they came to the meeting, and everyone was like, "We're all playing it." We no, you don't have to show it. We're all playing it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But
That's right. It was beyond obvious watching that interview from years ago that Bethesda was in love with Minecraft and all of its success. Pro Fallout 4 player tip though, pick up everything that you possibly can in this game. You're going to need it. If you like to run solo, I would advise against that. Just my own personal opinion, but you'll run into possible carrying weight issues, and a companion will help with that, at least somewhat. And not just for the boring parts like helping settlements build this or that, or you building a new home, but your weapons and armor that you'll definitely want to upgrade in the late game. In terms of leveling and upgrading your actual character, I enjoyed the new look of the perk system and its simplistic design, but adding points to each section in Fallout 3 and in New Vegas just felt more personal and a little more RPG-like than it feels here in Fallout 4. Fallout 4's choices and gameplay don't really have any real consequence. It just feels like you're pressing keys in the dialogue to get to the next area of combat or the story. There just, in general, isn't a lot to like about the dialogue system that's going to make you think long and hard about what to do next. There is a lot here to like about the gameplay and a lot I didn't like. They took 2 or 3 steps forward and 4 or 5 back the other way. Fallout 4 does so in a way that it doesn't really balance itself out. It's incredibly dense, and there is without a doubt a lot to do and see for your money. And yeah, the bugs, right? The bugs. You can't have a game on this engine without the bugs, right? Exactly. Fallout 4 is no exception.
Oh, so, dude.
I can remember playing at one point, just walking up a street and something randomly fell right on top of my head. Dead. Out of nowhere. This happened a few other times, but nothing that completely broke the experience. Still, it's pretty much a joke at this point that this kind of thing doesn't get ironed out before or even after release for a game that released in 2015, 2016, 2017. I mean, really, it's just, there's been no excuse for a very long time. Fallout 4 is without a doubt a lot of fun to play, but if you're looking for a true RPG experience or a game with a lot more consequence, look elsewhere.
Shuts down the press. Why don't we ask the newcomer? You support the news? Because the mayor's threatening to throw free speech in the dumpster.
Always believed in freedom of the press.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring you into this argument, miss. No.
Heading into the story, I really wasn't sure what to expect. A lot of the leaked information from 2013 turned out to be completely false. I wanted to go on somewhat of a media blackout for the game because I was hoping the story would be greatly improved over what we had with 3 and New Vegas for a title that again released in 2015 from one of the most respected studios in the industry. I was wrong, it's a bit of a mess. Why Bethesda chose to go a similar direction with this family stuff as they did with Fallout 3 is beyond me. I think the story also feels a little more forced than other Fallout games. Hey, happy Vault Tech calling. 5 minutes later, you're leaving your house for the vault. A moment or two after that, your husband is killed and your child is taken from you. You spend the entire game looking for your son and the man that killed your husband. Oh, and don't forget about fighting Deathclaws, picking up miniguns, and wearing power armor in the first hour. As I mentioned earlier, that's it. There really isn't much else beyond that, and a lot of the quests are just forgettable, to say the least.
I respect that so far, but I gotta ask one freak to another. Why the getup?
Many have sought to pierce the shroud, to no avail.
You just don't stop. Stay you, pal. The lowlife.
And again, like a lot of other open world games, many of the side quests are much more enjoyable than what you'll find in the main storyline. There just isn't any other way to say it. The double whammy with all of this, Fallout 4 doesn't even really have memorable characters like Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Piper is actually really awesome, and I feel like in some ways she might deserve her own game. Nick Valentine is extremely well done. I will say that, and the voice actor for both was top notch. I think if I could pick a quest that really stuck out with me and was somewhat memorable, it's the Diamond City DJ quest with Travis. The idea is to make him feel a lot braver in exchange for his depressing attitude on and off the radio. Completing the quest actually does change his attitude, and you can hear that when you tune into Diamond City Radio. Before that, it's this weird, awkward, but yet still somewhat funny character. You would just have to play it for yourself to understand. The payoff, or conclusion, if you will, to the main story and all of this just isn't all that satisfying either. I sided with the Railroad, as I felt their methods and beliefs seemed to be more in line with how I would handle things in a world like this, in a universe where stuff like this was happening. The Brotherhood still sucks and contradict themselves more times in this game than I can count. Oh, the Institute wants all this technology for themselves. What? Come on, Bethesda. Come on. Seriously? The Minutemen are just annoying, and there was no way in hell I was going to side with the Institute. Fallout 4's story is just a mess from beginning to end. One of the more disappointing stories I've played in a really long time.
Shit! I need a drink.
If you're looking for me to talk in depth about the sound, that won't happen often, and it's not going to happen here with Fallout 4. The best things about it are still the songs that play on the radio, plain and simple. Speaking of songs that play on the radio, one of the other disappointments with this game was playing through it and hearing a lot of the same songs from Fallout 3. This isn't a bad thing because they're not bad songs, but I was hoping for all new songs. Nothing from Fallout 3, nothing from New Vegas. That's what I was hoping for. So it's a little disappointing, to say the least. And don't quote me, but I don't think any songs from New Vegas repeat in Fallout 4. And New Vegas, in my opinion, still very much has the best soundtrack. Weapon sounds are more punchy, and different tones that play out in combat situations obviously had more effort put into them this time around. Voice acting is actually solid in most cases, but there's nothing amazing happening here. You know, subtract Piper and subtract Nick Valentine. I feel like they do just enough to get by for the voice acting, and I can't see that changing anytime soon for Bethesda developed games. All in all, the sound design is good. It's nothing great and definitely nothing amazing. I know it may seem like I did a lot of complaining with different things about the gameplay as well as the story, but I genuinely enjoyed my time with Fallout 4. I have around 300 hours into it, and I wouldn't take it back. I don't know how you could put that many hours into a game and be like, yeah, this game sucks. There's a lot to like about the game. If the gameplay is more enjoyable than it ever was before, Bethesda just needs to focus on bringing a lot of the RPG elements back and have choices that actually matter. If you're going to do building and crafting, make it 100% optional and don't put it into any quest, side or main. Fallout 4 is a very good game. It's one that I could recommend to those, especially those that enjoyed Fallout 3 more than they did New Vegas. I still feel like out of the three, New Vegas still has a lot more depth than both of those games, and I understand why that was a turnoff for those that love Fallout 3 more. If you're in the mood for an open world game where exploration is still king and you can loot a lot of dead bodies, Fallout 4 might be the game for you.